Hello everyone and welcome back to the Bantamweight Boxing YouTube channel with your host Michael Waite. I hope you're all well. I know I've taken a bit of a break from the boxing videos, but I watched the Joyce versus Zhilei Zhang fight last night. Really enjoyed it and just wanted to turn on the camera and make a video about it, give a breakdown. But yeah, great fight. Probably didn't get the publicity it deserved. You know, if you're into your boxing, you know Zhang, you knew he was a good opponent. He was a dangerous opponent. Had a great fight against Hrgovic recently. Many people, including myself, thought he won that fight. So when I saw he was fighting Joyce, I was like, I'm definitely tuning into that. And when I saw it wasn't pay-per-view as well, I was like, quid's in. You know, I'm definitely going to watch it now with the price of most of the boxing fights. But yeah, let's get into the fight. So going into it, definitely thought it was a dangerous fight for Joyce, but I was putting my money on Joyce to win. I thought Zhang would be strong in the earlier rounds, probably nicking a few, but Joyce would be strong enough to kind of come through, and he's got the engine to kind of outwork Zhang. And Zhang kind of has a tendency in his fights to slow down as the fights go on, and Joyce is kind of the other way around. He kind of gets better as the fight goes on. It seems all those knocks to the head kind of wake him up, if you will, and he gets going. So I thought Zhang would be strong early, and then Joyce would come along late. And I was probably thinking he'd get the stoppage, maybe round 10 or so. But if not, just outwork him and get a points decision. But that is not how the fight went at all. Yeah, bit of a shocker. Probably, you know, I think from the outside, you would say it was an upset. Considering going into this fight, I would have put Joyce as maybe the third or fourth best heavyweight in the world. So if you look at it from that perspective, you would say this is quite a big upset, considering Zhang is pretty unknown to most fight fans. So yeah, it was a big upset. It didn't go the way most people were expecting it to go, especially probably the team at BT Sport. Zhang... Well, we'll go through the fight, how it's kind of started off. So, started off, Zhang had a great first couple of rounds, really was finding a home for the left hand. The fight could have been called, you know, if you're going to look back at it, it was the fight of the left hand from Zhang. He landed that pretty much at will. As I was watching the fight, you know, it looked to me almost like a Rocky film, you know, where there's no such thing as defense, there's no head movement, every punch lands, and all you were seeing was Joyce's head just go knocking back constantly. Joyce clearly had difficulties with his southpaw stance, with Zhang's southpaw stance, and Zhang just found a home for that left hand throughout the fight. Zhang looked very good at range, something which Joyce is actually very good at himself. So they were fighting at range in the early rounds, and Zhang was just having all the success. Decent jab, but yeah, it was mainly that left hand. Joyce showed no real head movement, and yeah, was scoring points easily. Then got to about the second round, where it was the first time I've ever seen Joyce take a step back. Got hit with a lovely left hand from Zhang, stumbled back, looked like his legs are completely gone. There was a bit of holding from Joyce. He did well to kind of survive, and then actually managed to survive the round. He kind of got his senses back, but it clearly been hurt. And yeah, as a fan of Joyce, someone who's watched him throughout his career, I've never seen Joyce take a step back. So I knew, just testament to Zhang, you know, that guy can clearly bang. And he does call himself the Big Bang, so fair play to him. So yeah, first and second round, clear rounds for Zhang. Joyce, you know, in the early rounds continued to kind of throw. He was trying to throw in volume to try and put Zhang, you know, put Zhang off and disrupt his kind of rhythm. But it just wasn't really working. At the long range, Zhang could just kind of see all of Joyce's shots coming, was able to block most of them. Nothing was really landing clean for Joyce. He had some good work to the body, and I thought that was the right move from Joyce. You know, keep working that body, try and stay in the fight, and later on turn on the gas when Zhang started to tire. But yeah, it just wasn't really coming together for Joyce. And as the rounds ticked on, round 4, round 5, just a similar thing. Zhang controlling the fight, controlling the pace of the fight as well. That's what Joyce is usually very good at, setting a very high pace. And the fighters can't really keep up with the volume. but Zhang was able to kind of deal with anything coming towards him, never looked hurt, never looked in trouble. And because he could control the momentum or the pace of the fight, Zhang was never looking too tired as the fight went on. And then, yeah, as it got on, Joyce had a bit of success close, you know, when they got a bit closer together. Kind of close range was Joyce's definitely his strongest. But what Zhang was doing is he could see he had hurt the eye, I think it was the right eye of Joyce, and just continued to target that. And Joyce couldn't see the left hands coming when he had two eyes, and when he only had one eye, it just got brutal. There were just, you know, two left hands in a row just landing clean on him, and the doctors had to take a look, and eventually they did stop the fight. I think it was round 6. So fair play to Zhang, great performance from him. He turned up, he was ready to go, wasn't going to be bullied by Joyce like a lot of other fighters. You know, you saw with the Parker fights, Joyce could just use his physical presence to bully Parker, but Zhang wasn't having any of that, and has proved to be, you know, a top heavyweight and a very dangerous fighter for any of those heavyweights. I'd be surprised if anyone willingly gets in the ring with him, any of those top guys get in the ring with him, because he's a dangerous fighter. But yeah, on reflection, good win from Zhang. Yeah, it's disappointing from Joyce. You know, he showed all the heart, he kept going, and you know, he was still trying to fight on despite the eye. What would have happened if the fight continued is an interesting one. You know, obviously the doctors had to step in, not disputing that at all. But if the fight had continued, I'd been interested to see what happened, because I know Zhang would have definitely started to tire. But I think he probably felt so confident with how he had done. He had that momentum to continue. So, you know, we'll never know that. And I hope they do run this back. It'd be good to see again. But yeah, for Joyce, he mentioned it in the post-fight interview. It was about the southpaw stance. He just couldn't get to grips with it. Just looked so uncomfortable in there. And yeah, just didn't work out for him. But it shows to Joyce, you know, you can have a great chin, but that can only take you so far. You know, when you get in there with a real fighter, a real dangerous guy, you've got to have more in your arsenal. You've got to be able to show you can defend yourself, you know, a little bit, because your body, you know, Joyce is clearly mentally very strong and wanted to go on, but his body wasn't there. You know, his eye was completely shut. And Zhang showed that Joyce can be hurt. He is human. But yeah, great performance from Zhang. Love to see them run it back. This catapults Zhang right now. You know, that throws him into the top five heavyweights. You know, you can't really argue with that. And I would class him as beating Hrgovic as well. So had 2 good wins back to back now. And it'll be interesting to see where he goes next. But let me know your guys' thoughts. You know, would you like to see this fight again? What did you think of Joyce's performance? I think he did well. You know, he was just looked uncomfortable there. I don't know if they'd spent enough time in the training camp with working on fighting against southpaw stances. But you know, again, boxing is styles make fights, and Zhang just seemed to be all wrong for Joyce. But that's what happens when you take a gamble. So, you know, good on Joyce for getting in there. And yeah, great fight. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, do drop a like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll be back out soon with some new videos. Thanks for listening, and goodbye.